What's up, y'all? It's your boy Eric Flo, live from Central Park. I'm here with Shorty. She about to leave me. I'm gonna miss her gracious presence. She provided a lot for me on this trip that I greatly appreciate. This relationship provides a lot for me that I greatly appreciate. And I want to tap on that real quick before I just leave. Because, she gonna ask me some questions, and then we just gonna, go about the video like that. We was having a real, deep, intellectual, spiritual conversation like we always do. I feel like when we step into that, it's almost like our vibration is being raised every time we have these kind of conversations. And I appreciate it. I was saying things like, I'm just grateful that even though I make all of these mistakes and I'm realizing things like I don't really have identity, and I'm just learning how to, I'm accepting certain things that I just wasn't conscious enough to understand. Like I just knew my blueprint went like, I seen the wrong ways that people was going and it wasn't working. And at least I was conscious enough to understand that if I went that way that I would end up just like them. See, at least I was conscious enough to do that, because then what that forced me to do was to have to try to create something that I thought was right, that I wouldn't end up in the same direction that I see, and was conscious enough to be able to see that even if they didn't already end up there, I could just see that from what I saw of people that already ended up in certain places, that they are not too far off.
Like a turtle. Like the blanket she's folding has 4 turtles on it.
That's crazy.
And it's 444. What the fuck?
Show them that. See, that's crazy. Every time we align in this kind of way and have deep conversations, we always end up seeing synchronicities. We saw 333 at 333 3 days in a row. Yeah. Like, it have been times like we just paid for some stuff at Whole Foods and the bill came up to 227. That's a synchronicity. That's my birthday backwards. Just like how my name Flo is Wolf backwards, and it's funny how I aligned and wanted to and got more passionate with aligning with flow state. And the whole time I was already in that direction, in a flow state, because all I had to do was flip my name backwards. I knew eventually I was going to take that being lone out of my joint, especially as I fell more in love with Shorty and we started building more. I started to feel and realize how alone I truly was before I was with her. But see, it helped me align with certain ways to be able to help myself, to be able to even be conscious enough to see that this relationship added to me in a way that I can look back and reflect on who I was before this relationship with somebody different. Because when I met her, I got inspired in ways to be a different kind of and a better kind of man. And I go deeper. So if you got any questions you want to ask me, I guess you can go from there. Anything that comes to mind. I feel like, manhood is just something that as men we got to understand is it's heavy. It's heavy for us, right? Like a lot of people it's scary being a man. Let me tap in with that. It's scary being a man because it's a lot to lose. Like in moments where, like in arguments with a female, you feel like you lose control and you start ready, for men that have maybe like screamed on women or like, did something like push the woman, maybe even hit a woman. It's scary being a man because like an OG will tell you that I done heard OGs say that and been in jail, or OGs that I done watched in like prison documentaries, the advice that they got for youngins like me watching it on Netflix, living my life. They'd tell me like, just know that 2 minutes could turn into 20 years. And when you really think about it, that's the epitome of masculinity, is that we can make one decision and throw it all away, no matter how great and how hard we work to become who we try to become. And I think that's what makes people afraid of masculinity, is that it come with a sacrifice and a price, and it's kind of like an investment, how you would do on like a Bitcoin or something. You could put the money in there and be doing your thing, You might lose focus, and then you might check back as you thought you was doing your thing and gaining and getting coins and all that now you then fumbled the investment, you done lost money. And now you got to figure out another game plan to bring yourself back up to the level that you was at financially. As a man, I feel like that's when you start to break things down differently. Like, okay, what really is manhood then? Because it seemed like I got to align with whatever that is in the middle ground, in between what I'm trying to achieve and where I'm at already. What will it take for me to at least not just, I don't want to just get there. Like as a man, the older you get and the more conscious you become through mistakes, through trial and error, you realize that it's deeper than just wanting to become. It's about want to achieve. It's about becoming. It's about wanting to align and stay in alignment, not just wanting to get there. You know? I go deep. If you got any questions about manhood, about our relationship, ask me whatever. You know? Shout out to Shorty, man. I had a great time. She looked out for me in a lot of ways. And I told her it's tough to, go from being in an Airbnb to having to go back into a homeless shelter to sleep in the same room with another grown man. You know what I'm saying? That's not easy. I go from laying and cuddling up to my beautiful baby to now I look across at the other bed and I see this dude's foot hanging off the bed with his fungus out. He got a fungus on his foot. You think you want to wake up to that every day? Looking just across me a couple feet, it's another twin bed with a 40-year-old man over there that been in here for 2 years already. Like, no disrespect, but like, that's easy for somebody to lose motivation, doing what they got to do. So it's a certain type of sharpness that I have to have, especially living in a matrix full of people that are just dead people walking that have no motivation to do the kind of stuff that we are trying to do. New York is really Gotham. And I feel like, through her being here, she's gotten to see that. One corner, you'll see rich people think it's nice over here, it's beautiful. Then you wait 2 minutes and a crackhead is screaming at the top of his lungs, looking like he just literally shot himself with the needle.
We saw that.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
that was crazy.
It was, and I was when I get to be around her and see, just the difference of where she come from. Like, it was one time we going on a 2 train. And I'm trying to tell her where to go through the joints so she could, go through the turnstile. Some crackhead came over there and was talking to another crackhead, and I lost all of her attention. She got zoned out because it's just like, I know she not used to all of that going on. Like, and I was telling her, I was like, yo, listen, it was some crackheads on the train. I told her, I was like, listen, don't make no eye contact with nobody. Words to everything I love. It was a crackhead that was looking at her like this. It was some cringe. Like, I'm like, yo, listen, just don't look at nobody in their face. And you know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to have to put nobody out. Because, with Shorty, that's another thing. That's another thing. Like, that security guard, is in me when Shorty around. I feel like more testosterone is pumping through my veins just her standing next to me. And I'm gonna have way more of a dead arm. Like, my dead arm is gonna be something serious. I'm gonna hit somebody with a deady, they pull up on me and Shorty. No hesitation. I feel like with this diet especially, I remember when she used to come through, I used to be paranoid, like, nah, I'm not trying to really do too much. I'm not trying to really go nowhere. And she probably thinking I'm shaky or like, I don't want to really do nothing with her, but it's just like, I'm shaky to the extent of like, I know what I'm willing to do and I'm not trying to do all that. I'm not trying to have to be in that position, knowing that people is disrespectful in New York, and it just make you want to, take your respect from people. Like, and that's what New York did to me, that I'm realizing, like, New York, depending on where you grow up, it make you somebody. Because, like, being in a long distance relationship with her, like, when she come through, I see what New York did to me being with somebody outside of where I'm from. That if I lived where she was from, she would not be with the man that I am now. I would be a different person. New York make you do things like you have to, as soon as you lock your door, come outside, you have to be willing to go all the way there. Or you have to at least process that it's possible that it will happen. You're already bracing yourself for death and murder and jail and disrespect. You bracing yourself for that every day. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, yeah, for me, like, and yeah, like I said with manhood, bro, like, all I know how to do in a relationship, all I know how to do with leadership is to just be what I felt like dudes had it in them to be, but they was too afraid. Like, I'm trying to talk to grown men and ask them, tell me the truth about life. And they afraid, and I see them still sugarcoating it. So I was already on a spiritual level aligning to the point where, like, I was able to understand things I couldn't properly put into words. And I feel like we all come from that at some point in our life. That's how the spiritual journey starts. That's what makes you curious to want to continue a spiritual journey, as you start to be able to put your spiritual journey in words now. Because it starts off, you can't put it in words. All you doing is you just feeling that you just shifting. that is the beginning of the spiritual path. You just feel like you're shifting. You feel like something is different that you just gotta go with. Something kind of just, you know, it's just one of those. You felt how that felt when I just did that? One of these. And you just feel like, okay, this is where I need to be, right here. That's the beginning of the spiritual path. You don't have no question? Can't think of nothing? Take your time.
I had that question before we started recording. I was gonna ask you, like,
So a little bit more up.
I was gonna ask you if there's anything that makes you anxious about YouTube.
Great question. See now, YouTube, I built an identity, you know? So I felt like I was getting attached to YouTube at first to the point where I was just, you know, I liked how I existed on YouTube rather than how I existed in my real life. Because I was actually able to have an impact on people and do the things that I knew that I was called to be able to do. But I just knew that around the people in New York that I've been around don't have it in them to want to listen to somebody like me. Or even when they did, they'd turn around and just not, you know, really listen to me. Like, they'd ask me for advice, but they wouldn't really listen to me. But they felt it within them that I was the person to come to for advice, at least. So that is things like that, and friendships like that taught me that I had something in me that people sensed, that they just knew, like, I was the dude to come to that would make them feel better, at least just to even talk to me and get it off their chest. You know what I'm saying? I was that person. So I feel like because of how thirsty and how attached I was to be able to finally do what I felt like I was called to do, which was help people, because it's just the feeling that makes me feel like that. How I told you, it's hard to put it in words, but I just feel like when I'm doing YouTube and I put out a good video, I just feel like I'm here. Like, this is what I need to be doing. You know? So what makes me anxious about YouTube is not being able to provide that. You know, being in a space where, like, I self-sabotage myself and now I can't do what I want to do. Now I have to take all of this accountability and I have to, you know, take time away from me being that leader because I'm slipping. And that's what I don't like about this YouTube path that I've had, is that I've been slipping for the majority of my career. The whole 2 years that I've been on here, I have been slipping. And enough is enough, bro. Like, I'm really tired of that, bro. I'm not even going front. It's whack to have to even think that. It's times where she came and visited me and spent all this money and I turned around and I relapsed to the site. It was one time she left and the day after she left, I relapsed, bro. I already struggle with identity issues and I'm turning around and I'm self-sabotaging myself with something that I'm passionate about in both aspects. I have somebody in my corner that's willing to, you know, do what you got to do to align with me and be in alignment with me. I got people that look forward to hearing me speak. You know what I'm saying? And when I make those mistakes, it's just not me, bro. It's not none of us that's on this path, bro. That's why it hurts so much. You just hungry. You just hungry. And then when you relapse, it's like you had to take the 2 train 4 stops to get to your stop. But now when you relapse, now you feel like you got to take it 12 more stops. Because you done missed your stop, and now you got to go past 12 to come back and get in alignment. That's what alignment is.
Missing your stop.
You know what I'm saying? You might miss your stop, or you might stop before you felt like, you know, before you were supposed to get off. And now you done went somewhere all the way over here. Now you got to find a train station again. You got to get back on. And then, you know, by the time you get there, it might be closed. And now you got to, like, you know, these journeys is tricky. Like, because every one of your new journeys that you embark on could be different, depending on your approach and even how you relapse. That's why a lot of times I feel like I can't give a lot of y'all relapse advice. Because a lot of y'all is not going to really hold yourself accountable how I do. When I tell shorty times like, yo, I ain't gonna lie, I relapsed and I was on there for like 2 hours. Yo, bro, do you know how hard that is to do that, bro? But that's what I'm doing, because that's how bad I'm trying to prove to her and the universe and everybody around me, when I keep it that real, is that I want to align and be in alignment bad. To the point where if I take that step back, I'm not trying to go no further than that. I'm not trying to make it no worse than what it already is by trying to front and put on the facade. It's gonna make it harder. And I wasted a lot of time on YouTube doing that. She inspired me to make that step when I finally told y'all the truth. I never told y'all that. She inspired me to take that step when I realized I was in a real relationship with somebody that I felt like was put in my life for a purpose. You know what I'm saying? That's what I felt when she aligned with me on a path where she was watching my YouTube videos, and then here we are together and we building, and I could feel how much she appreciate a person like me and like me, because she done took in my videos and get my intent and inspired me to be like, nah, bro, like, imagine, you know, how we could really be if I just align better. if I was able to align with her still throughout not really be holding myself accountable, and I was still able to make great videos that people say, yo, we miss the old Coach Davis. When I hear you miss the old Coach Davis or you miss Coach Davis, I'm like, you don't even get it, bro. Like, that person was never me. I was lying to myself. And lying to yourself meaning that you're not willing to take the kind of accountability to the point where you're willing to ascend, which is accepting the truth. If you don't accept the truth, you're lying. Whether you decided to consciously put something over that or you didn't and you just tried to forget about it, you're still lying. Because you're trying to act like it don't matter, but you holding yourself back and you feel it. But you just going along with it because you're too afraid to take that step. Our greatest fear is not that we are powerful beyond measure, but our greatest fear is that not that we are inadequate, but our greatest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. That's a famous quote. Any more questions? Anything? And I want to end it soon because it's 15 minutes. We're just chilling in Central Park. You know, I smoked a little something. You know what I'm saying? Some mixed with a little CBD and all that. Because I'm still a light smoker. And after she leave, I'm about to go months without smoking. Like, I do it occasionally, bro. Like, that's not, you know, if you're going to do that, you know, treat it like how you would treat liquor. And I'm going to keep saying that. You know, that should be a once in a while thing. If not at all. But if you want to get smooth, you know, get you a little bottle or something, nothing crazy. And, you know, a little bit of weed. You shouldn't need no more than that. It'll minimize what you do rather than going all of these months like, oh, bottle here every weekend. Now you space it out. You do one bottle and you do a nice little pack rather than doing that every weekend or mad times throughout every month. You know, at least you're doing better. So that's how I like to, you know, try to cut myself some slack sometimes because I still do enjoy smoking, even though I just know it's not good for me to do it all the time.
I think my question would be...
This last question, so make sure you...
Yeah. What is the most surprising thing you've learned about women being in a relationship with me?
I've learned that a woman's journey is not too far from a man's. You know, womanhood is its own monster as well as manhood is, and we have to accept women as such. We can't just think that manhood exists and there's no such thing as womanhood. We don't understand the female body. We just know that when we have sex with a woman that we want to make her come. We don't know that sex is a whole different experience for a woman. I watched my mom be taken over by sex because I can't think of anything else that my step-pops ever provided. He didn't work. He was outside on the block. You know, he was a BS rapper that was trash. You know, she used to laugh at his music. She used to listen to him rap and fake it, but then come to me and my brother and laugh. She had all of these reasons to leave him, but he must have been providing something, right? And as a grown man, you get to a certain age where you just put one and two together about a lot of different relationships. And he had that kind of influence on my mother. So the kind of influence that a man can have over a woman during sex is what I learned way before you came in my life. That's what I've been trying to learn and, you know, deal with and accept that, you know, sex took away my mother's love from me. So I have a weird relationship with sex, if you think about it. I just have this will and desire to want to pleasure you to the point where I don't have to worry about, I guess, not receiving what I'm looking to receive because I know what comes with it. I know I can get more love than I ever had. A woman has more love for a man that's hitting it right than she even has for her own kids. And that's a, you know, that could come off, you know, it might sound like it might come off wrong, but that's just the raw truth of it. And I seen that. And okay, maybe it could play a part that you know, my pops, she didn't like my pops, whatever, but still though, like, you know, I exist outside of him. I'm my own person that you created with him. And any woman that's conscious enough can understand that this is y'all kid that has nothing to do with him. He can be different. He can be better. He can be more. He can love you more. You know? Yeah, so, you know, a woman's love is, and you mean in general, like throughout our relationship? Or you mean just in general in life?
Yeah, I guess just in general in life.
Yeah, like, you know, a woman's love is something to want to desire. It's nothing wrong with feeling that. You're not a simp for wanting to desire a woman's love because a woman's love is amazing and it's beautiful. And it makes you feel, you know, 10 times better than you would already feel being at your happiest, you know. There's more to life when you allow a woman and you growing with a woman and y'all achieving and, you know, grinding to achieve divine masculinity and divine femininity. And we have conversations about that. You know, the most powerful chess piece on the board is the queen. You know what I'm saying? The king and the queen is in alignment to where like he accepts that he can only take one step at a time on that chessboard, because a king can only move one piece, but she is moving everywhere. She is taking down anything that comes in his way. You know, and a woman's love can do that for you psychologically if you think about it. You know what I'm saying? With demon fighting, you know what I'm saying? That love that you feel from a woman that is trying to get in tune with her divine feminine and that actually loves you is healing. It will help you heal, you know, because we can't do everything by ourselves. And I had to learn to accept that my ego wanted to be a lone wolf. That's why I said that was never me. My ego just thought that I would feel better about myself if I achieved it by myself. But I appreciate her presence. All right, y'all. I'm out of here with that. Great conversation. Y'all be well. And never give up on your spiritual journey. It's going to be rough, but I'm going to be here for you as best as I can. Peace.